Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Chesterton's Jest, where we shine an unflinching light on the joys, contradictions, and crises within today's Catholic Church and culture. If you're here for faith, wit, and a little righteous fire, you're in the right place. Smash that like button, share this video with your fellow troublemakers, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Now then, shall we begin? Our topic, up for discussion today: fallen angels and forbidden books. What the Church really teaches. Chapter 1. The verse that refuses to sit quietly. There are passages in Scripture that behave themselves, and there are passages that refuse to sit quietly in the corner of theology. Genesis chapter 6 belongs to the second kind. It appears suddenly, says something strange, and leaves without explaining itself. The sons of God saw the daughters of men, and they took wives of them, and there were giants in the earth in those days. The modern reader immediately suspects something hidden. The ancient reader suspected something dangerous. The difference is important. Modern curiosity wants secrets. Ancient wisdom wanted caution. From that single passage has grown an entire forest of speculation. Fallen angels, forbidden knowledge, hybrid beings, lost books, suppressed doctrines, and the persistent suspicion that the Church knows more than she is saying. And at the center of all this stands a book that is not in the Bible, but never quite disappeared from Christian memory: the Book of Enoch. Chapter 2. The book that was known but not received. The Book of Enoch is not a modern invention. It is ancient, older than the New Testament, written in the centuries before Christ. It was known among the Jews of the Second Temple period and read by early Christians. It tells a dramatic story. Angels called watchers descend to earth, take human wives, produce giants, and teach mankind forbidden arts. Because of this corruption, God sends the flood. It is no wonder the imagination is drawn to it. The story explains evil in grand and terrible terms. It suggests that the world before the flood was not merely sinful, but invaded. Yet the Church never placed Enoch in the canon of Scripture. She did not burn it, she did not hide it, she simply did not receive it as inspired. The distinction matters. The Church has always known many ancient writings. She has never declared all of them to be revelation. To modern ears, this sounds like suppression. To the Orthodox Catholic mind, it sounds like discipline. Chapter 3. Jude and the problem of quotation. The difficulty becomes sharper when we notice that the Epistle of Jude quotes Enoch directly. Jude speaks of Enoch prophesying, and the words closely match the text found in the ancient book. For many readers, this seems decisive. If an inspired apostle quotes Enoch, must not Enoch itself be inspired? The Church has always answered no. Inspired authors may quote non-inspired sources. St. Paul quotes pagan poets. The Book of Acts records Greek sayings. Truth may appear in many places without making every source sacred. Jude is inspired. The book he quotes is not. The Catholic tradition has never feared this distinction because Revelation is not a collection of interesting texts. It is a deposit guarded, tested, and received by the Church. Chapter 4. The Early Fathers and the Giants. It must be admitted that some early Christians took the Enoch story seriously. Writers like Justin Martyr, Irenaeus, and Tertullian spoke of fallen angels teaching forbidden knowledge. They lived closer to the ancient Jewish world and were familiar with traditions we now only read in fragments. This does not mean they were wrong, but it does mean the question was never settled in the early centuries. The fathers were not a chorus speaking in perfect unison. They were witnesses, not stenographers. What matters is that the Church did not bind herself to one explanation. Some thought the sons of God were angels. Others thought they were the descendants of Seth. Others saw powerful rulers abusing their authority. The diversity of interpretation is itself a sign that the passage was never meant to carry the weight of dogma. Where the Church defines, she speaks clearly. Where she remains silent, she is often protecting us from building certainty where God left mystery. Chapter 5. Augustine and the Limits of Speculation. The turning point came with St. Augustine. He did not deny the existence of angels nor the reality of demons. He affirmed both strongly, but he rejected the idea that fallen spirits produced biological offspring. His reasoning was not modern skepticism, it was theological order. Angels are pure spirits. They do not possess bodies by nature. They do not marry, they do not reproduce, and they do not generate flesh. If one abandons this, one risks turning theology into mythology. Augustine preferred the interpretation that the sons of God were the descendants of Seth, the daughters of men the descendants of Cain, and the giants powerful men of violence and renown. This explanation preserved both the mystery of the text and the order of creation. The Western Church largely followed him, not because curiosity was forbidden, but because speculation must never overthrow doctrine. Chapter 6. Why the Church did not decide. It is striking that the Church never issued a dogmatic definition about Genesis 6. She defined the Trinity. She defined the Incarnation. She defined the canon of Scripture. But she did not define the Nephilim. This is not neglect. It is wisdom. The Church defines what is necessary for salvation. The existence of angels is necessary. The fall of the angels is necessary. The reality of sin before the flood is necessary. But the mechanics of that corruption were not revealed with precision, and therefore were not imposed with precision. Modern minds often assume that every unanswered question hides a secret. The older Christian mind assumed that unanswered questions often hide a boundary. Not everything that can be imagined must be believed. Chapter 7. The real meaning of the Watchers. Even if one allows that ancient traditions spoke of fallen angels teaching forbidden knowledge, the lesson of the story is not biological but moral. In Enoch, the Watchers teach weapons, sorcery, and corrupt arts. In Genesis, the earth becomes filled with violence. In both, the result is the same. Mankind forgets God and destroys itself. The danger is not that angels bred giants. The danger is that pride bred corruption. The devil rarely needs to change our nature. He only needs to distort our desires. The fascination with Nephilim often distracts from the simpler and more frightening truth, that the world before the flood was destroyed not by monsters, but by sin. Chapter 8. The Modern Hunger for Hidden Knowledge. There is something deeply modern in the desire to believe that the real story has been concealed. We suspect lost gospels, hidden books, secret councils, forbidden truths. We imagine that somewhere behind the official teaching lies a darker and more exciting history. But Christianity has never been a secret religion. Its doctrines are preached in the open, its creed recited aloud, its sacraments performed publicly. The Church did not reject Enoch because she feared it. She rejected it because it was not part of the revelation entrusted to her. Curiosity can be a virtue, but curiosity without obedience becomes superstition. Chapter 9. Fallen Angels and Present Dangers. The Orthodox Catholic tradition has never denied the activity of fallen angels. Demons tempt, deceive, and corrupt. They influence cultures, nations, and individuals. Spiritual warfare is not poetry, it is doctrine. But the warfare is moral and spiritual, not mythological. The devil does not need giants walking the earth. He needs men who believe that law is optional, truth is flexible, and God is negotiable. He needs pride, not monsters. The world before the flood fell because men chose violence, lust, and rebellion. The Book of Enoch dramatizes this. Genesis states it simply. The church teaches the lesson without embellishment. Chapter 10. The Discipline of the Church. In the end, the question of fallen angels and forbidden books teaches something about the church herself. She's not afraid of mystery, but she refuses to build doctrine on imagination. She allows speculation, but she guards revelation. She preserves what has been given, and she resists the temptation to satisfy every curiosity. This restraint is not weakness, it is strength. For the greatest danger is not that there were giants before the flood. The greatest danger is that man, in every age, wants knowledge without obedience, power without humility, and mystery without authority. The church answers that desire the same way she always has. Believe what has been revealed, respect what has not, and remember that the real battle is not with ancient giants, but with the pride that made them possible. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's video and share our passion for defending the true faith with a touch of humor, smash that like button. Share this video with your fellow troublemakers and subscribe so you never miss an episode. As Chesterton once said, a madman is not someone who has lost his reason. A madman is someone who has lost everything except his reason. So, let's keep our reason and our faith intact together. Thanks for listening. God bless you, and may the good Lord be praised.